one of the things we find that we can't find easily available is good online content where they talk about tactics. But for this particular section, we're talking about doubles tactics. So as a coach, you coach both, but in your mind, and as for a bit of advice for players like us, you know, who play doubles, what do you think of when we're talking about doubles tactics? You know, because you got the basics. Oh yeah, you got the front man and then you got the back man. Then when they lift, you go sides, and then there's, you know, that. So
that's like rules. It's like if you don't do that, then you're breaking the rules.
So, but it's like learning poker.
Double,
it's simple. Like you have poker. There's two pairs. There's three of a kind, all that. But then once you go beyond that, then it's a whole other level, right? So yes, there are the rules, but then there are. You know what I mean?
I would like to break it down to basically make it very simple. Maybe I'll make it too simple, but we have something called, like right now we're having a relation to each other where we talk to each other. Then if we play Daniel or if we play Joe, then we will have a physical relation. So that basically means that by playing with you, I will begin to understand what is your physical abilities. Then I know that I can basically smash a bit more to the side or have you standing a bit more to my side because you have quick reflexes, so you can get them over your head quite fast. So it's about how well you know your partner and knowing these physical relations. So what is your partner capable of, and how can we try to utilize these powers? Because it's because sometimes if I play with someone who smashes, then I actually want them to follow up, but maybe they are not capable of following up. Then our physical relation is simply not good enough. So that's also a way, instead of just blaming each other. So why didn't you get that? You are fast.
What do you mean by follow up? Give an example of.
For example, if you can see my background.
Yeah.
I'm playing over here.
Yeah.
On the red one. So if I'm
you're in red. Yep.
Yeah. So if I'm going to this corner here, smashes, then this is. Then I want to move to the net, right? And my partner would make that space for me to come forward,
right?
If I told him so. But maybe these basic rules you're not able to do these rules because one of the players isn't really able to do that and familiar with the rules. And maybe they are, but maybe they have some physical circumstances that they are not able to do it. So the more you know your partners, the better you'll be able to find out your own strategy. But you had these basic rules that you just went through with side and backline and front court. But then if you watch the Sukamuljo and Gideon, that's a completely different sport than watching some of our Danish doubles. They're basically flying around, and you can't really see how there is nothing, no structure here.
Yeah.
But then you will have this little rule, like 1.5 meter. It's like elastic. What is that called? You know, you have a rope between you, and that is have to be around 2 meters. But I normally talk about physical relation and trying to talk a lot about badminton. Because they know the basics, and I can't give any very, very good strategic advice to win every match. Is like that people want in my YouTube comments.
Go on, D.
No, I was just going to say there is no, I wouldn't say there's no formula to winning, but it's funny because if as I don't coach, but as a coach, you would see Sukamojo and a kid if he was doing that in training, you'd be like, yes, that's nice, but that can't be your bread and butter. But he
Exactly.
throws that out the window, and anything that he does, you would normally say to someone, okay, that's enough. But if you do too much of it, they're gonna wise up to it. He's almost the we say the
Anomaly.
It's not anomaly.
Yeah,
Anomaly. Because it's
Yeah.
like the shots behind the back, the arms down. It's very unorthodox in terms of teaching someone to play badminton. But yeah, I think the combination is very important, that you have an understanding on the court, because that needs to be your bread and butter. Like you said, with that shot where you're pulled out wide, you need to come forward, because otherwise, if they switch it to the opposite side of the court, you're not going to be able to get it. You need to come forward to cover the front, and I will pull out to work. But there is no, I wouldn't say there's a formula, or not a formula, but an exact thing that you play. Yeah.
No, but at the same time, go on, Mid.
No, I just want to say that there is, if you break down their doubles, then they have this way they want to stand. They want Gideon on the rear backhand corner performing smash, and then they want Sukamuljo on the middle. Yeah. Not everything else, because Sukamuljo is quite fast doing a China jump to the rear front. Rear back forehand corner, and he's also quite explosive, as we always see, so he can basically cover the net all the time. So that's a kind of a physical relation. Gideon knows if he can perform smashes here, Sukamuljo would basically be able to reach everything, so he can just pull everything into this smash and don't really think about recover. So that's it's
huge. But also in the partnership, there's the JB, when you and I were playing a tournament, and it's, sometimes when the opposing team calls something out, and you have a partner that you find it difficult to control almost, and who maybe gets a bit emotional over points where it's, should we really be trying to, because the more emotionally involved we get and get upset at what our opponents are doing, or in between each other, the ability to understand your partner. Do you need to play a role where you calm them down a bit more, or do you need to excite them a bit more, or, and understanding that, how do we balance each other mentally on the court, understanding our strengths as a game player, but also as a person, to, especially when, in the finals or semi-finals where, everyone's a little bit nervous, and, and how to bring the best out of each other, I guess.
I think it's a very fine line you have to walk, where you don't really want to guide them, but you just want to help them, like I said, play their strongest game, to allow you to play the strongest game as a team, right? Pretty much what you touched on. But it's a very tricky line to walk, especially in a high pressure situation. I actually watched your video, Mads, where you had the I can't remember what the diagram was called, but how to deal with pressure situations, and you had that diagram. Do you remember the video?
Yeah, about nervousness.
It's very interesting, and it's actually a legit diagram that they use in psychology, right? Or they use in some lecture.
But I made my own version.
You made your tweaks, but it's okay, because obviously you have to apply it towards badminton and that. Yeah. But I think you did it really well, and I think it does follow the same structure, so I think it works really well. And for players like me who suffer with nerves, especially like at the later stages of tournaments and whatnot, it's a great tool, and it's just something you can necessarily fall back onto, if you know what I mean. But just tie it back to go and go.
I think I have something I could send you about being a long-time badminton player, and what kind of that's cool. I learned it this week, so. But I'd love to hear your thoughts about it.
Yeah, no worries. I could give you my email or whatever, and you could send me an email, and I could look at it, and then that's not an issue.
It's something that we can all learn from, is because
definitely.
Also, when you and I, again, another example, JB, which is probably a common example, is I'll make a mistake and you call it out and you say, "Come on, keep your racket up," and then you'll make a mistake and then I'll make, and it's like, okay, well, do we just keep on calling out each other's mistakes, or do we wait till we get to 11 points and we think, okay, well, what is it really the case? Is it keep my racket up, or is it do I just need to calm down a bit, or is it do I need to? And so it's understanding not to keep. You think you might be doing something good by saying, "Oh, you were too slow there," or you shouldn't have. Why did you smash it in the net? Or so like you said, there's a fine line between encouraging
message to the net,
encouraging and demoralizing. So the fine line between encouraging and demoralizing.
You have to be on the same level. I think the more you play with your partner,
come on, please keep up, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Why are you so bad? Why do you hit the net?
No, you need to be on the same level, because you always have that moment. I think with your partners that you play with, or sometimes you may just feel that you're playing really well, and it's like, okay, right, I've saved like 6 shots, and then you get 1 shot, and then you.
That always happens with me, and your dad will say so many of them.
It comes with the territory. It's something that you like badminton for, and when you watch it back, you're like, okay, right, that is super entertaining. It's sometimes where you may think, okay, right, well, that's not what you should have done. I watched the rally today. It was when Watanabe and Endo was playing the young Indian pair, and they was targeting Endo constantly, and there was a lot of shots he should not have got back. And
his defenses.
A couple of times he got caught out and he managed to hit one from behind the back, and then it's like, okay, right, whatever happens, you're playing 1 point at a time. You concentrate on playing for your partner, ensuring that you're giving as much as you can. And I think with pairs who play often together, you can have sometimes disagreements, but you know what the end goal is. I'm there at the back and I'm trying to set up my partner. We talked about it last week, whereas my smash is not as big, but it will set up that front person. And that is my goal, is to set up that front person. If I'm unable to set up to that front person, I may try to rotate to the front and cover it. I'm 6'3", so to get it past me, you're gonna have to hit pretty high. It is having that understanding. Okay, right. Well, this is what we're trying to do. We're on the same page. We both want to win the point. We want the shuttle to hit the floor on our opponent's side. So, yeah, I think it's just enjoying it and making sure that you have that you take the good and you take the bad. You look at the pairs that have won big tournaments, and then you think of, okay, right, a lot of pairs have won good tournaments, and then you look at, in the last year, a final where you saw it meant the most to someone, and it would be like, okay, right, Rasmus, when they won the China Open, this was a big, you can see how much it meant. The shirt off, the celebration, it was like, okay, right.
That's some of the best celebrations come from the game.
You can see how much it meant, and it's working as a pair towards the same goal. I think just making sure that you remember that. And I think Japan has a very good system where they play with each other for such a long time. Like, I don't know any country where I see pairs that start from so young and continuously train and play with the same partner from juniors up into it just gives them a better understanding of each other. And it's something that when you play, like, I think us three are quite lucky that we play in the same clubs all the time. So we have that opportunity to be like, okay, right, well, if I'm going to do this, I expect you to go here. I think that's one of the best things about badminton is the relationship you build with your training partners. Because let's say if I play with G, I'll play a very different style to, let's say, if I play with Daniel, because I know G will cover different shots, like say playing to your strengths, like he'll cover different shots more effectively and other shots not so effectively, and vice versa with Daniel, right? And it's just, I think that is just one of the best parts about badminton is the variation of how do I phrase it? The variation of ways you can play the game with different partners that how they cover, how they play, what their strengths and weaknesses are.